Thank you, Randy Meyer, for that great introduction. This is the afternoon shift. It is Thursday, December 4th. I'm Adam-llorens.
I'm maxx-fuller. I'll save the AKs because we've got some pretty meaty stuff on the menu today.
Yeah, you just heard that press conference about the Lutsen Resort Lodge on Lake Superior. A blaze destroyed it in the early morning hours of February 6th of 2024, and they found the suspect, and it turned out to be the owner of the lodge there, and so he's being extradited back from Michigan to Minnesota, and we're also still tracking this Somali American ICE story as well.
Absolutely, and we're expecting to hear from community leaders and local politicians in just a second here, where we got the podium up out of the corner of our eye. So if you see us kind of just glancing over here, we're just waiting for people to approach the podium so we can hear from the people themselves.
That's right. It's being held at Minneapolis City Hall. The Council on American Islamic Relations, better known as CARE, is really spearheading it, and it looks like Jelani Hussein, who's the executive director of CARE, is coming to the podium now. Let's take a listen in.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Suleiman Aden, Suleiman. Last name Aden, Adan. I'm the Deputy Executive Director here at CARE Minnesota. Thank you so much for joining us here today. We are standing together today because our community is living through a moment where I wouldn't even say it's 4 days in. It seems like forever. Myself and my team and those behind me have been inundated with calls, long nights, early mornings, parents afraid to take their kids to school. My own high school that I graduated from telling us that their own students are afraid to jump on the train from Roosevelt High School. When will enough be enough? But one thing that has been for certain is that Minnesotans have come out in droves for support. And behind us today, we have some of a subsets of those that are from the legislative body and from city and local government, and those that are on the ground as organizers, community leaders, imams, and others to speak to this today. The first person we have speaking here today is Jelani Hussein, the Executive Director of CARE Minnesota.
Jelani Hussein, Jaylanihussein, Executive Director for the Council of American Islamic Relations, CARE Minnesota. Today we want to announce some initiatives that we are asking Minnesotans and others to get involved in an effort to respond to not only the attacks from the president, but what's been also happening on social media. This past week has been extremely challenging, not only to Somali Americans, not to other immigrants here in Minnesota and across the country, but particularly the Minnesota community, the larger Minnesota community. We've had a president call our community derogatory terms, and in this moment, we have a choice, and that choice is to respond boldly, bravely, and consistently. And in this moment, we believe that love is going to win, not hate. And we are asking our beloved community here in Minnesota to join us in these initiatives and more. First and foremost, we know that there's interest to learn, to celebrate the Somali American experience as part and parcel of the many immigrant communities who have come to this country, whether through planes or boats, through Ellis Island or airports, that have found their way into this land, made it a home, and brought their culture to this country. It is the Italian young child who was afraid to share his pizza that today we do not recognize the pizza as an Italian thing. We recognize it as an Italian-American idea. In fact, it is so American that most people forgot the idea that it's an Italian cuisine that every single American today tastes, touches, and enjoys. The fact of the matter is, we Somali Americans have many incredible culture that we are infusing every single day into this great country and this great state. One of the delights that many people know about us is our sambuse, which you will hear about for those who don't know, but it will cure your hateness. May not cure your hateness, but it'll make you think twice about hating people who make such incredible food. And for that, today we are announcing a nationwide call for Somali Heritage Month, a month that this entire country can celebrate, remember not only the impact that Somali American and immigrants have done across this country, some who every single day work in turkey plants, poultry plants across this country. Most of you have eaten the food that Somali Americans have prepared for the past 30 years that you do not even realize. Those who worked hard every single day in those difficult jobs at factories across this country just to give their children a slice of the American dream. So while we determine this month, we believe will be June because it celebrates the history of Somalia and its birth after the civil war, after the colonial colonization and the birth of the Somali state. So we will ask cities, counties, and the state of Minnesota and states across this country to proclaim June to be Somali Heritage Month, where school children, businesses, and others alike can remind and share the beauty of this incredible culture. Many of us who are not Irish know about St. Patrick's Day, know about the incredible days in this country that we remember different cultures as well, and we hope this to be that. In addition to that, we are calling today, which we have already seen some, but statements of support, statements of love, statements that declare that Somali Americans not only are here today, but will be here in the future. Statements of what Somali Americans mean, not only to this great state of Minnesota, but to your company, to your organization, and most importantly, to this country. In this moment, as one person makes a statement against this community, we together can make statements that are much louder, much bolder, and can tell the story a lot more different. So if you have a school, a church, an organization, a business, whatever entity that you have, do that. Share a statement, and we look forward to this week coming that communities can come together and craft statements that are true, that share the different glimpses of the Somali American community, but also the broader immigrant community that is also impacted in this moment. As we head to this weekend, we are also asking faith leaders to remind their congregation. In this moment, we pray for our nation. We pray even for our politicians. We pray for each other in order that in this moment, likeness wins and hate loses. We are asking for churches, mosques, and synagogues, and people of other faith to use this time as we head to an important holiday part of the year where we come together as families and we think about our communities and we begin to think about a new year and a new beginning. We are also asking in this moment, as already has happened, we are asking for your neighbor to check into your Somali neighbor, your Somali colleague, your Somali friend, your Somali doctor, teacher, those who are impacted in this moment, to check in with them, to see what they need, to let them know that you are here for them. Because in this moment, it is this type of hate that will lead to incredible bondship and relationship and love. People who may have smiled can now have a conversation, a cup of tea, and actually be bonded together. And we are looking forward to that happening not only this weekend, but throughout. We're also asking for people to plan for a day of action on Saturday, December 13th, not only here in Minnesota, not in different parts of the state, but also across the country. A day where they can share their love and support for the Somali American community and other immigrant communities as well. In this moment, we are not going to retreat. We're going to lean in. We're also asking for everybody, especially now. Our conversations have left sometimes the hallways and in areas, and our conversations have now become into social media. And we're asking in this space as well to share your love, your support for the Somali American community and other immigrant communities as well. This is not a time to be silent. This is a time to be bold and to speak up. And we are asking for people to support the Somali businesses. We know many of them are affected. Look in your neighborhood. Find that business, that restaurant, that salon, that grocery store, that other business that is in your neighborhood, in your community. Reach out to them, visit them. Be bold there to say, we are with you. We are here to support you. We stand with you. We know that ICE is using these important junctions of our community as a place where they weaponize their activity against lawful U.S. residents and U.S. citizens. As we know, majority of Somalis are citizens of this country. And finally, we need long-term commitment. We are looking for businesses and organizations in this moment to say what bold idea initiative that they can support, not only to protect, honor, respect, and support the Somali American community, but all immigrant communities. We've heard from the President. We've heard from some of our community members. This is the time we hear from our neighbors and friends and colleagues. And I'll tell you personally, I have met a number of people just this morning and others who would privately come to me and say, I am sorry. I stand with you. I want to let you know that. This is who we are. This is a place, especially here in Minnesota, that is cold right now. But it's a place that has incredible people. People who say, oops, before we do something else. We have people here who have warm hearts in this cold environment. And in this moment, Minnesotans, we are on the clock. We need to stand up. We need to speak up. And we need to share a glimpse of the great experience that has happened here for the last 30 years, where Somali American children today find this place, this land, with 10,000 lakes and more as home. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jaylani. The rest of the speakers that you'll hear today are going to kind of expound on what Jaylani was saying on those 4 points on the asks, the day of action, the robust support that not only we as an organization need, but we as a community need as well. The next speaker that we have is the Executive Director of Ayeda Leads. Hold on.
Good afternoon. My name is Habon Abdulle, Habon, last name Abdulle. I am the Executive Director of Ayeda Leads, an organization dedicated to advance and protect the well-being and leadership of African diaspora community here in Minnesota. Our work is rooted in the belief that when our community is supported, our entire state grows stronger. We are living through a defining moment in our country, one where we must decide whether we truly uphold the ideals we claim. This is a time that calls on all of us to affirm that immigrants are not only contributors, but an essential part of the fabric of our state and our nation. I'm proud to stand with my community, all immigrant community. That is who my community is. My community is also Minnesotan. My community is the people who live here in Minneapolis. I'm a proud Somali Minnesotan. Now more than ever, we need leaders who will stand up and stand strong, who are willing to call out harmful rhetoric and call our community back into compassion and care. Ayeda Leads, alongside our partners and neighborhood, is proud to support the establishment of Somali Heritage Month. This recognition honors the culture, the richness of our culture, and provides an addition to the culture that we found already here in Minnesota. Together, we can shape a future rooted in belonging and shared purpose. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Habon. Next, it's my pleasure to invite Imam Hassan Jam.
I'm Imam Hassan Jama, Hassan, Jama Jama, Imam of Al Hikmah Islamic Center in Minneapolis. Unapologetically, I want to say I'm American, I'm a Somali American, I'm a Minnesotan, and no apology. And I'm brave to call Minnesota home, where I spend most of my life. I want to thank everyone who stand what America is, which is land of opportunity and a place you can dress the way you want, you can worship who you want, and you can talk what you believe. Maybe someone says, as a Somali community in America, we did not assimilate or integrate it. But tell me, when we have here in Minnesota more than 500 nurses, doctors, lawyers, teachers, elected officials, from Congress to the neighborhood associations, business people, what assimilation are you looking for? We must also recognize our President Donald Trump is attempting to distract Americans from real issues, including his rapidly failing approval rating by targeting and blaming vulnerable communities. This kind of political rhetoric is not new in America, in American history, and it does nothing to solve real problem facing our nation. What we are witnessing today as a Somali American echoes the painful experiences that many communities face in the past. Irish community, African American, Italian, Jewish, and others who were unfairly targeted, yet preserved and become pillars of American society. Today, the Somali American community, together with all Minnesotans, stands united with resilience, dignity, and unwavering commitment to our shared values. We will not be divided. We will not be intimidated. We will not continue to stand for fairness. We will continue to stand for fairness, justice, and true spirit to America. We must also remember that the mistakes of a few individuals can never be used to generalize or stereotype an entire community. We have a justice system and law enforcement in place, and we must allow them to do their job against anyone who commits a crime, regardless of their background or identity. More than 90% of Somali Americans in Minnesota are hardworking, reasonable, and deeply committed to contributing to the prosperity of our state and our country. Maybe you're asking yourself, we did not answer and comment the rhetoric and false allegation towards our community last couple of years, when some appointed officers and elected officials brutally targeted our community to gain a political position. We were busy to help our family. Average job of Somali American in Minnesota between 8 to 14 hours a day. We are a hardworking community, and we don't have time, like any other American, to come during the day and stop what we are doing and to come 3 p.m. to the city hall and define who we are. Almost 60% of Somali Americans in Minnesota born and raised here. And as we're speaking right now, as Minnesota is thriving economically, our community are prosper and thriving. Our second generation is have a good paying jobs, and we start last 10 years to become homeowners, to chase American dreams. This is who we are. We are standing together, we are organizing ourselves, and we don't let anyone to demonize and to humiliate. We want to ask, and I want to see our elected officials. We heard our governor, Minneapolis mayor, St. Paul mayor, and others spoke already. Bravely, I'm watching other elected officials. If they are not complicit with the racism comes from Washington, I want to hear from them if they care about Minnesota and Minnesota communities. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Imam Hassan Jama. Next up, we have Qasim Basuri.
My name is Qasim Basuri, Kassim, Basuri, Busuri. I'm a former appointed City Council member of City of St. Paul, Ward 6, and also the Executive Director of Minnesota Dawah Institute. Thanks to all the brothers and sisters who came to support our community. And I also want to thank the local politicians who have supported our community and continue to support our community. President Donald Trump attacked and verbally attacked Americans yesterday and the day before, and he continues to verbally attack Americans. We demand he apologize publicly, and we demand Congress and the Senate to make sure he apologized directly to the Americans that he assaulted with his disgusting words against the Somali community. And every community that he attacks, there needs to be a check of power. So we demand President Donald Trump to apologize to the community. And he didn't attack foreign entity. He didn't attack a foreign country. He attacked American. An attack on one American is an attack on all Americans. Again, we ask Donald Trump to apologize. Thank you.
Thank you, Qasim. We definitely share that sentiment. Next, we have Pastor Anthony.
My name is Pastor Anthony Galloway, ANTHONY, I'm the pastor of Wayman AME Church in North Minneapolis, and I'm here to speak and appeal to all of our faith communities to use your time and energy to pray, to cover this community and all of our communities whenever we have rhetoric like this. As a member of the African Methodist Episcopal Church, we know all too well what divisive rhetoric can stir up in this country. When Dylan Roof walked into one of our churches in South Carolina and perpetrated that violence. We know what that looks like here in the state of Minnesota, that stirring up this hateful rhetoric has led to not only the vandalism of several mosques, but of course, the bombing of the mosque in Bloomington. So we need to stand together in solidarity and be able to say, you attack one of us, you attack all of us. We are communities of faith. We are communities of solidarity. It seems that some in Washington would think that nobody would respond if I'm going to attack a community for no reason. The vast majority of all of the Somali peoples in this country, many in Minnesota, there is no reason. This is a frivolous use of tax dollars because there is nothing to find here except to try to stir up the divisions. So we ask and stand in solidarity, not just with the AME Church, but faith leaders across the state of Minnesota and across this country. Urge your congregations to spend some time in your gatherings for praying not only for our Somali community, but also for all of our communities, to put forward all of the things that we venerate in our faith communities. There's a poem in La Ketch. I am, you are the other me. And if I do harm to you, I do harm to myself. In my own faith tradition, the greatest commandment is to love God above all, and the second is to love our neighbor as ourselves. So let's act on all of those things and use all of the times that we can gather together as faith communities to stand in solidarity and to show that you single out any one of our communities in this heinous way, you're going to get a response from all of our communities. Thank you.
I almost want to clap too. Thank you so much, the people's pastor, Pastor Anthony. Next, it's my honor and privilege to be able to welcome to the podium lovers of justice and champions of peace, members of the Minneapolis City Council and the State Senate. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Oreen Chowdhury. I'm the council member to the 12th Ward here in Minneapolis, and I stand with my colleagues on the Minneapolis City Council, Council President Elliot Payne and Council Member Jason Chavez, and I stand alongside my state senator, Senator Zainab Mohammed. In Minneapolis, we love our Somali neighbors. We support our Somali neighbors. And what our president is doing right now is to strike fear in our communities, to divide us, to be bigoted, and we're going to turn that hate into love, and we are making a commitment, as we have done year after year, to recognize Somali Heritage Month in the city of Minneapolis in June, as we have done for many years and will continue to do so. And we will celebrate Somali heritage 365 days, and we encourage and we implore cities across the state of Minnesota and across our countries to follow suit with City Hall here in Minneapolis and also recognize Somali Heritage Month. We are also going to take meaningful action to ensure that our immigrant communities have the protection and services that they need, and that's why this budget cycle we will be making meaningful advancements into increasing funding for immigrant legal services.
Thank you so much. It's these same, members of local government and state politics that have helped push for a more equitable and just Minnesota. Next, we have Imam Saifullah from the Northwest Islamic Community Center.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Imam Saifullah Muhammad. That's S-A-I-F-U-L-L-A-H. M-U-H-A-M-M-A-D. I serve as the resident scholar for the Northwest Islamic Community Center in Plymouth, Minnesota. And I am gathering here today with my colleagues and my friends, my brothers and my sisters, in a moment of deep concern. As our Somali immigrant communities across Minnesota are being attacked. In the recent days, President Donald Trump's statements targeting Somali Americans, combined with intensified ICE raids, are affecting families and our neighbors. They have caused fear, confusion, and actual real harm. As a faith leader who works with immigrants and Somali Americans, I must speak honestly. The words that were spoken by our President, Donald Trump, have real consequences. They shape public attitudes, legitimize hostility, and can embolden those who wish to discriminate against our communities. When the highest office in our nation singles out an entire ethnic and religious community, it places families at real risk. As Minnesotans, we understand why this is happening at this time. We understand what the president is trying to do. This president had pledged when he was coming into office to bring down inflation, lower costs of living, and reduce food prices, issues that affect every household in Minnesota, from Minneapolis to Mankato. Yet, because of the fake promises and not being able to achieve those promises, families are now struggling as more than ever before to afford basic necessities like health care, groceries, rent, and essential goods. And this administration also delivered one of the biggest tax cuts in the recent history to the wealthiest individuals and corporations, while working families continue to feel the squeeze. So when the President of the United States of America decides to attack immigrants, especially the Somali community, Minnesotans recognize what it is for what it is. It's a political distraction meant to shift attention away from the economic promises that remain unfulfilled. But scapegoating immigrants will not lower grocery prices. Demonizing Somalis will not reduce healthcare costs. Blaming vulnerable communities will not fix inflation. Minnesotans deserve real solutions, not fear-based politics. Our Somali community will not be scapegoated. Somali Minnesotans are not outsiders, and let me say that very clearly. They are not a threat. They are our neighbors, they are our co-workers, they are our students, they are our teachers, they are our entrepreneurs, and they are our leaders. They are a vital, beautiful, and inseparable part of the state. Islam teaches us, my own tradition teaches us, the dignity that God has given each human being inherently. God says in the Quran, وَلَقَدْ كَرَّمْنَا بَنِي آدَمَ. Indeed, we have dignified every single child of Adam. So this honor is universal. It applies to every person, regardless of ethnicity, nationality, and immigration status. So I stand with our Somali Americans, our neighbors, in this very tough time, and we are here to support, and as our brother Jailani said, that fear will not divide us. It's going to be love that unifies all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Imam Saifullah. We next have one of our last two speakers, Michelle Gross. And Dr. Nakima Lemi-Armstrong.
Good afternoon. My name is Michelle Gross, M-I-C-H-E-L-L-E-G-R-O-S-S, and I'm the president of Communities United Against Police Brutality.
Good afternoon. I'm Nakima Levy-Armstrong, civil rights attorney and the founder of the Racial Justice Network.
Yes. I want to point out something that I think is very important here. First of all, I stand 1,000% with my Somali neighbors. I'm honored to do so, and I will always be there for my neighbors to defend them. But I'm very upset about a comment that was made by our police chief, Brian O'Hara, earlier last month when he vilified Somali youth by blaming them for crime. And when he did that, he set the tone and he enabled the president to call out our Somali neighbors. You know, I think that words have meaning and actions have consequences. And by saying things, making false statements about Somali youth, he has brought down this attack on our Somali community. He has brought this down, and I think that's deeply unfair. Then he gave a half apology where he said, I'm sorry if you misunderstood what I said, basically blaming the listener rather than the speaker. And I think that's deeply inappropriate, and he owes this community a giant apology, because what he did was he weaponized. He used words that weaponized so that this administration could have an excuse to come into this community and claim that our neighbors are the source of crime, which is a falsehood, and it is not something that we're going to accept. He needs to own what he's done, and for him to come out and just say, well, if the ICE people bother you, call the Minneapolis police. That's not good enough. He needs to make it clear that ICE has no business being in this town, they have no place here, and they are not going to be bothering our community members, harassing our community members. We pay the salary of the Minneapolis police. We don't pay them to protect ICE, we pay them to protect us from ICE. And that's what they need to do. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm here along with Michelle to stand in solidarity with our Somali community against these unwarranted, unjustified, and unconscionable attacks. As a Black woman, I know what it's like to be a part of a community that is often stereotyped, demonized, and dehumanized based on the actions of a small number of people. And that's what we see happening here. We see a huge focus on bringing negativity to the Somali community and connecting them to the Feeding Our Future scandal. But what we have to remember is, number one, that was a very, very, very small group of individuals involved in that fraud. They're being held accountable under the law. Many, if not all of them, will face time in prison. But the face of that scandal was actually a white woman named Amy Bach. So I'm going to say the quiet part out loud today. That particular person is who gave access for the scandal to happen in the first place. And yet the focus is on Somali individuals. If it weren't for a white woman opening the door, none of it would have even happened in the first place. So let's be honest here. But we don't hear Donald Trump and ICE and their minions calling out white people who engage in fraud or crime or abuse. And I'm from a community that has unfortunately been impacted as a result of white people's crimes against black people that have gone unrecognized, that have never been addressed, and where we continue to be mistreated and stereotyped, even though our community for decades upon decades have been the ones who have suffered as a result of white privilege, white power, and white supremacy. And the way that ICE is being used right now, it's further leveraging of that abuse of power. So we will not stand for it. We stand in solidarity with our Somali community. When we were calling out the Minneapolis Police Department and other police departments for abuse, we had Jaylani Hussein, who is the executive director of CARE Minnesota, standing with us. We had now Senator Zainab Mohammed standing with us before she was a senator, calling out abuses against African Americans. And we had many in the Somali community who marched with us and who also understood our plight and our pain and our trauma because of what was beginning to happen in the Somali community regarding police being weaponized against that community. So we stand in solidarity. We're asking Minnesotans to stand in solidarity, to not fall for the lies and the deception, and to understand that this is in fact political. This is about finding distractions to wield and weaponize political power so that people will not focus on the real atrocities, the real fraud, the real waste, the real abuse that has been levied upon American citizens and some of our most vulnerable residents at the hands of the Trump administration. Thank you.
Now we'll take some questions. Jaylani, have you had a chance to speak with local or state Republican leadership here? We've heard a lot from folks in the NFL here. Have you had a chance?
You just heard a press conference from Minneapolis City Hall from Somali community leaders and members of CARE talking about this the ICE story that is targeting Somali residents here in specifically in Minneapolis.
Absolutely, a lot of emotional, strong, powerful statements being said there, and they're currently taking questions right now. We will provide you those questions. We'll give you the whole press conference in full towards the end of the show here.
That's right. That's right. We are going to go to a commercial break right now. We just hit 4 o'clock here, and we are going to be with David Bedford, one of the chief apple growers at the University of Minnesota. They've got a new breed of apple this year.
I know, it's kind of crazy. I think a lot of people like me have a similar reaction. Like, what do you mean new apples? I didn't know they're coming out with new apples. Yeah. We're not talking about the iPhone here. We're talking about real, actual, the original OG apples that grow from trees. Yeah. How does this process work? What goes into it? All that stuff. I got tons of questions for him.
The 2 best inventions from your alma mater: the new apples and maxx-fuller.
Oh, well, they didn't invent me.
Yeah,
they don't get that credit.
Productions of your alma mater. They didn't produce you either.
They gave me a microphone.
Okay. David Bedford coming up next. Don't go anywhere. Back here on the afternoon shift. Max, the University of Minnesota, they make a new apple every single year. It's a fantastic initiative.
I had no idea about this initiative until just earlier today, and it's super exciting. They're not just on the cutting edge of medical technology and procedures, but also growing apples.
That's right. That's right. The chief breeder of the apples at the University of Minnesota, his name is David Bedford. He's with us now. What's up, David?
Well, pleasure to be here and to talk about my favorite subject.
Yeah, what's your apple? Why do you love apples so much?
Well, I don't know. I got sucked into them years ago. I'm in my 46th year doing this, so it's too late to quit. I gotta see it through.
Your official title is Master Breeder.
No, you guys have given me some nice promotions, but, but I'm a research scientist at the university, and my job has involved breeding for the last 46 years. And the goal, my goal, but maybe even more important, the university's goal for I think we're up to 117 years now, breeding apples that grow in this climate. And so most apples, in fact, when you go to the store and you see all those apples on the shelves, most of those will not grow because of the weather we're having right now, the winter. So things like Red Delicious, Golden Delicious, Gala, Braeburn, Fuji, all of those will not live here. So our job has been to find ones that will live here. And over that 115 years, we've introduced 29 that will grow here and are happy to grow here. And we have 2 more coming out this year. I wish it was an apple every year, but it's not quite, quite that long. It takes us actually 20 to 30 years to develop a new variety.
Wow.
And so Honeycrisp was 30 years. We've gotten it shrunken down a little bit now, so it's closer to 20, but it still feels like a lifetime when you're waiting for the next one to come. But part of the reason for that is that even with our best technology and breeding, only 1 out of 10,000 of the trees that we develop through the breeding is good enough to make it through the process.
1 in 10,000.
1 in 10,000, yeah. So by the time we release something, it's really the cream of the crop. So that's the job, is sorting out all the also-rans.
Yeah, growing up, there were red apples, yellow apples, green apples. What's the need for all these different apple varieties? What sparks the imagination?
Well, I mean, I guess you could say the same thing about cars or anything. We want new and better and improved. But I'll tell you, actually, it was when I was growing up, there really was just the apple that was dominant at that time was Red Delicious. And that is such a poor excuse for an apple, I have to tell you. Yeah, well, I got to say it like I see it. And I always say if there was some truth in advertising, that apple would have been pulled, because it is red, but it's not delicious. Let's be honest. It's kind of sweet but mealy, and so when I was growing up, I thought that's what an apple was, and it wasn't too appealing. So it wasn't until I was in college that I came across real apples, good apples, and then I kind of got hooked after that. But Red Delicious was so dominant, and then there was Golden Delicious. So like you say, we had a red, and we had a yellow, and then there was Granny Smith, and we had a green. So I still remember when we were introducing Honeycrisp, a big distributor in Michigan said, we have 3 colors. Do we really need another apple? And it's like, well, let's let the people decide. And turns out they did like Honeycrisp. And from there, it just kind of spiraled up for us. And so a lot of the breeding, almost all the breeding we've done in the last 20 years has involved Honeycrisp genetics, because once you've had that texture, it's hard to go back to those mealy, soft, sort of things. So we've doubled down on that texture, and that's what we're all about now.
So cool.
I'm really fascinated by the process, because you said that, it takes 20 to 30 years. So take us to step 1, like day 1, the early days. Like what goes into the decision-making process for like the kind of apple you're shooting for? Is it taste? Is it adaptability? Like you said, trying to grow here. Like what goes into the decision-making process of what kind of apple you're shooting for?
Yeah, there's actually about 20 characteristics that we look at in apple breeding that we're trying to improve or control. And we never get them all right, but at some point you have to make some priorities about, okay, what is the most important? And so many years ago, we decided that texture and flavor were the two most important things. And, appearance is important. You want it to look good because people still shop with their eyes, but not too many people say, oh, I had this beautiful apple and I'm going to go buy more. They say, I had this delicious apple and I'm going to go buy more.
Right.
So we have to reach a certain level of appearance, but really it's texture and flavor that makes a unique experience. So Honeycrisp just raised the bar immeasurably for texture. And once we found that, that was the goal. So everything has to have similar to Honeycrisp texture or better. We actually have some that are more crisp than Honeycrisp, believe it or not. And then beyond that, flavor. Well, flavor is a much wider palate. I mean, some people like tart, some people like sweet, so it's not so simple, but what we do know is that an apple needs to be well balanced. And by that, I mean it has to have some sugar and some acid. And some people say, oh, but I love a sweet apple. I don't want any acid. I just want sugar. And I say, well, how do you like Kool-Aid? That's what Kool-Aid is. That's just sugar and water. Yeah. And the human palate, we need to have a little more complexity. So you have to have that little acid in there. And people that like a tart apple, well, the acid's a little higher. People that like a sweet apple, it's a little lower. But it's all about sugar and acid, basically.
Yeah. The Honeycrisp apple, would you say that this is sort of the new gold standard of apples nationwide? And are all of them native really to Minnesota, or have they started growing Honeycrisp apples in other states?
Yeah, we developed it and introduced it in 1991. And now it's spread throughout the country, throughout the world. In fact, right now, depending how you do the measurements, it's either number 1 or number 2 in the U.S. I think volume-wise, it might be number 2. Income-wise, it's number 1 because it sells for a higher price, as it should. I mean, diamonds should sell for more than popcorn, So, but at any rate, yeah, it's spread around the world basically. And, anytime because it's so different, it really makes an impact. Like in breeding, usually we hope to make little incremental improvements. We want a little bigger apple, a little redder apple, a little crisper apple. Well, so those are nice little steps. Well, Honeycrisp, when we're looking at texture, went from here to here. It's like, oh my goodness, and we only get that once in a million, where you make such big steps. I compare it to, like in human genetics, Albert Einstein, 1 in a million, where those genes fall together in just the right way. And so that's what Honeycrisp did, is raise the bar. And in a good way, I think, people tend to have liked it. And like I say, once you've had it, it's hard to go back. So it's being used very heavily in other breeding programs. We're not the only one. Now that the world has discovered it, everybody wants a piece of that in their offspring. So, we're on the Honeycrisp bandwagon.
I love it. And the Honeycrisp is perfection, like you said. But how do you know? How do you know when it's done? Like we got it. We got the.
Yeah. Well, you never are finished. I can tell you that. As good as Honeycrisp is, it's not the perfect apple. And for a consumer, maybe it's pretty close to perfect, but we have to be able to grow it easily too. And Honeycrisp is a hard one to grow. So the growers, in fact, when we first sent it out for testing, I heard from the growers out in Washington who said, this thing is a nightmare. We're never going to grow this. You might as well come and pull these trees out because we don't want them. Well, that would have been the end of it, except that some of the fruit got out into the market and the people said, oh, we like this. And we'll pay more. If it's harder to raise, we'll pay more. And so those growers said, oh, well, if you're going to pay more, we'll grow it. Yeah. So it kind of almost fell off the edge of the table, and kind of the grassroots effort kept it alive, basically. So anyway, we're trying to make apples that are easier to grow, maybe have a little more disease resistant. Those other 20 characters I talked about might not be quite as important to the consumer as texture and flavor, but it's part of the whole package. So we're still working on improving.
Now, David, you all have released 6 new apple and grape varieties for growers. Can you talk about these new varieties that are just released here?
Yeah. We've started a new program now. That's going to be a national program, and it's going to be directed more. Our past apples, the ones like Honeycrisp and Sweet Tango, some of these big players, we would normally license big wholesale growers throughout the country, and they would have the rights. They would be the ones who send the fruit to the market, make sure the standards are good. But there's never been a pathway for the kind of the small growers, and even like some of the local growers, the growers you would go out to and pick apples in the fall. They've always been kind of off to the side. So our new program is directed at them specifically. And so some of our best material now is going to be made available to them. It's a club, basically, that they will join, an organization, and then they'll have access to all of our best stuff. So we have 3, yes. Now, one of those is out already, and that's an apple that, when it's grown in Minnesota, is called First Kiss. And that's a Honeycrisp child. We happen to have 2 names for that variety, which is a little unusual. When it's grown outside of the state, it's marketed as Rave. So if you see a Rave in the store and a First Kiss at your local orchard, they're the same thing. But they very well might taste different because of the climate, the soil, that sort of thing. So our growers, maybe rightly so, say the Minnesota stuff is the best. And in some respects, it kind of makes sense that we develop those varieties for this climate. They're growing in this climate. When you take those apples to Washington, they're still perfectly good, but it's a very different environment. So anyway, so that's the one that will be Rave. The next 2 are 2 that I have here. Happen to keep them in my pocket just for these occasions.
Okay. This is not the Rave apple, though, is it?
This is not. Yeah,
Which one is this one here?
This is this is the first announcement that I've ever made public of it.
Let's go.
You do. Now the website was released a week ago, but nobody's spoken live and in person. So you're getting the first take on it. So there you go. Now let me see and make sure I get them right. You don't want to mix your children up. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I got them. Yeah. Okay. This one, let's start with this one, yeah.
These different apples?
They're different,
Okay,
2 different ones, right, That's why I wanted to make sure I wasn't giving you the wrong information. But so the 2 trademark names for these 2, I'm going to start with this one because this one is this is crisper than Honeycrisp. I'll just tell you that right now. This is called Super Snap.
Super Snap.
Yeah. That's hope gives you a little sense of maybe what's coming when we have a name like that.
Okay.
The second one is a much milder, and normally it's a huge apple normally, but that just happened to be what I have, which is a good size apple. They're both good, but that one is going to be called Big Flirt.
Big flirt. Big flirt.
Yeah. So we'll have First Kiss, Big Flirt, and Super Snap.
All right, let's give it a little try here.
Yeah. Let me cut them for you.
You want to cut it?
We're gonna do it just officially, so you get the proper size slice. Let's start with Big Flirt because that's a milder one.
I mean, you're the apple master breeder here, cutting an apple.
This is how we do it, and that's how you do that.
Okay.
Hey, Dave, can I ask you while we try these, what goes into a name, by the way?
Don't even get me started. We don't have enough time. I'll tell you that naming a child is a lot easier than naming an apple. Because there's no lawyers that say you can't use that name for your children. I mean, maybe your kids are going to have some psychological problems or something. Choose a bad name, but But these, it's a trademark, so you've got to get it approved. It can't be like anybody else's. Blah 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 blah.
This is Big Flirt right here.
That's Big Flirt. Yeah. So hopefully you get a little sense of crisp and juicy.
Yeah, it's very juicy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think I could watch you just eating apples and observing apples all day.
Maybe instead of
like your kids.
Well, I know. I love them.
This is amazing.
That was excellent. All right, so that's Big Flirt.
Big Flirt. Now,
this is super
Super Snap.
Yeah, it is flirty.
Flirting with the mouth.
Now this, you tell me, but to me, This is crisper than Honeycrisp.
Okay.
This is a category that we call.
Was that a name that was in contention at all? Crisper than Honeycrisp? It doesn't really roll out.
Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't. Yeah, yeah. But this, well, you tell me what you think. But texture is its strength, and it's a very well balanced flavor too. So.
Super Snap.
Super Snap. Yeah. See if you think
Oh.
you named it. You got a load of that. Yeah. Isn't that kind of the next level?
I like this one more than the other one, actually, personally. Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It was very good.
It's not as sweet as the other one, I don't think either.
No, that's right. But this is balanced. There's sugar and there's acid, and that's what we're looking for. And that's independent of the fact that that texture is what I call explosively crisp. You bite into that, well, you should have some eye shield or something, because it's gonna spray.
David Bedford, you're the master breeder at the University of Minnesota. What a treat of a segment here. This
I
is
know.
awesome. Yeah.
Your passion is just brimming out of you, man.
Well,
It's amazing.
it's the opposite that do the talking.
David, we appreciate you coming in studio. Thank you so
Well,
much.
my pleasure. Thank you, guys. Yep.
Awesome. Max, coming up next, we're going to bring some humor to Studio 9.
Yeah, absolutely. We got a local comedian, Denise Winkleman, who's lived 1,000 lives. She's not only a comedian, she's a former model, a former professional wrestler.
Yep.
I mean, she's lived a million different lives, and we're going to hear all about it from her and about her upcoming show tomorrow right here in Minnesota. All of that and more coming up next on the afternoon shift.
Welcome back to the afternoon shift. Max, we're bringing some smiles into Studio 9 right now.
I mean, we always do. Don't
We always do. We always do.
But yeah, a professional at bringing those smiles. Denise Winkleman. What's up, Denise?
Hey, thanks so much for having me. It's great to be here.
Yeah, thanks for coming through.
Yeah, I flew in this week. I wanted a tropical vacation.
Yes. Where's home for you?
Home right now is Los Angeles.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, you kind of got to be there to try to make it in the comedy world, right?
Oh, you got to. New York, LA, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Although not as much anymore, but you can kind of do it from anywhere. But been there 5 years. I moved 2 weeks before the shutdown.
Oh, fun time.
Yes. Timing is everything. Right?
Yes. You live in Southern California. You're from North Home, Minnesota.
I am.
Those are your roots. Can you talk about growing up in North Home and maybe how that's contributed to your comedy?
It's helped a lot, actually, because it's so small, like 300 people in the town, 18 people in graduating class, did not finish top 10. Did not. There's a reason I'm doing comedy right now. I was never going to be in NASA.
Yes.
No, not at all. It was a good place to live. I just feel like we should have been more creative with the name. Like we should have just let some drunk dude climb up on a water tower and pick the name. like Jenny as a slut. But I don't know, like I loved it. We had 27 bars and 27 churches, kind of thing. So
yes,
it was one of those places.
I dig it.
Denise, now when we were introing you before the commercial break, I introduced someone that's lived 1,000 different lives because before you're a comedian, you were a professional wrestler.
I was a pro wrestler.
How did that happen? Tell us about your pro wrestling career.
Well, so I graduated from Bemidji State, and I just loved wrestling, and so I wanted to do it. So I wrote a handwritten letter to a bunch of indie wrestler promotions, and I just fell in, The Rock and Stone Cold and all those guys. And at the time, Cincy was a real hotbed of wrestling. So I moved to Cincinnati when I was 23. I wrestled 5 years on the indies there, like 500 matches, something like that.
Holy crap.
Indiana, Kentucky, like all the great places, kind of thing. Ohio, but met a lot of great people because a lot of people came through this school. Northern Wrestling Federation, it was where the Monster Abyss started, where Wildcat Chris Harris started. Carl Anderson was the best man in my wedding back in the day. So, like a bunch of people went through there, got to meet a bunch of really good people. I wrestled as the mad scientist. Because one day in promo class, Carl Anderson pulls me aside and says, "Hey, everybody's bored. Could you just entertain everybody?" and do one as a mad scientist. So I did, and I got stuck with it. So I would come out and chew the ropes, and I'd be really intense, and I'd like growl at people and tell them I think my first angle that I really did, I whipped up a potion, which was just Gatorade. And I threw it on somebody and it blinded him. And so it led to some street fights down the road, and I was part of a tag team called Weird Science at that point. The street fights were always fun. I was kind of a brawler. I wasn't like a natural like high flyer. I was too scared. But,
Not doing backflips, and hurricanranas and stuff like that. Yeah.
And I was tall. Like I was taller than most of the guys, so I would be able to throw them around a little bit, and it was a lot of fun. But like there's this match. You can find it on YouTube, but you have to know where to look. But the guy blinded with the potion. Yeah. He was hanging upside down. So he was choking my partner. It was a tarantula is what it's called. And so he's hanging over the ropes, and my partner's going, ah. And I took a kendo stick and I hit him right here as hard as I could, like a baseball bat. To the point where the announcers are like, good God Almighty, he's dead.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to say is I'm a very nice person.
Yes. You've got a very nice special that's out on Amazon Prime Video, Apple TV, among other platforms. It's called Bougie on a Budget. Can you tell us more about Bougie on a Budget?
Yeah, so it came out really well. I shot it a couple years ago in North Hollywood at a nice theater there. And everything worked out really well. You never know going in, but the material came together, learned so much about doing a special and putting it out. So the title is Bougie on a Budget. I do some pieces about, growing up poor in northern Minnesota. My family's Golden Corral poor. The best meal we ever ate was the salad bar. My dad would take us places like one time he took us to the big Michelin star restaurant. Yeah. And by that I just mean he put on his best tires. But for us it was Applebee's. Yes. And he would go.
Ain't nothing wrong with Applebee's. No, come on.
I'm not hating. I am not.
Combo, all that,
Us too, but he tried to be classy, like, oh, garçon. Could you bring us your finest array of Cheese Whiz?
Yes.
And they did.
Yes.
We were raised on Natty Lights.
Okay. I speak Natty Light. Yes. I'm gonna go back to college.
But I try to class it up a little bit, so I shop at Goodwill now.
There you go.
High fashion right there. Denise, now obviously, like your life, just as a comedian, your life informs your comedy. But where do you draw the line? Like, how do you decide, like, maybe this is too personal to put it into my comedy, or does that line not exist for you?
That line does not exist. So I love Chris Rock. He was like my favorite comedian growing up. Yeah. But like all the comedians I really like, they talk about themselves, and that's kind of where they get their truth. Like Mike Birbiglia was another one. Yeah. I love Eliza. Yeah. People like that, and. The first 2 years, so I'm transgender, and I transitioned and moved to Denver in 2013 for a day job, and I started comedy there. And the first 2 years, I was also doing modeling, and I lost a modeling job because they found out I was trans. They were going to fly me some places. And so the first 2 years, I never talked about being trans on stage. Yeah. And so I went out to California and saw some comics at the Comedy Store, and I was like, no, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to just talk about me. And, like, it's a big part of my life. It's shaped everything about me. And so as soon as I started being real on stage, like, it just got so much better. So probably too real. Probably everybody's like, no, you don't have to talk about yourself all the time. You can talk about other things. But no, it's there's no line for me.
Yeah.
I will overshare with everyone. Like random strangers on the street are like, "Who is this woman? Like, and why is she talking to me?"
Yeah. But that's how you get the audience to feel like they know you, right? It's like oversharing. Then it kind of feels like people know you. Is the current kind of climate surrounding everything with trans rights, trans people, and all of that, is that good for comedy? That's kind of, I mean, good, bad?
It kind of comes full circle, right? Like, because the first couple years I was in LA, it was really good. And I got on a lot of shows. I was booked a lot of different places, I think primarily because I was trans, which is not the reason I wanted to be booked, you know. But then I was like, yeah, give me some stage time, you know. But then when the Chappelle stuff hit, it kind of changed everything and the whole attitude shifted. And now it's kind of coming back a little bit. So I think, you know, I don't want to push it on anybody. I just want to talk about myself. You know, it just be funny. I want to be silly and tell D jokes, you know?
I think being authentic to yourself and being real with yourself is one of the most important things that anybody can do in life, whether you're a comedian or anything else. So I think that's awesome. And being able to use that through comedy, it's got to be a really great gift that you have, and being able to kind of harken back to that and kind of be able to share some of your struggles and your journey to the audience.
Absolutely. When I started talking about being trans on stage, it was when I was in Denver, and some were conservative rooms, and I was like, I don't know how this is going to go. And I would always have people that would come up to me after and be like, hey, I have a trans kid, or I know someone, or I learned so much like watching you. I felt like I was doing a TED Talk. I was like, did you like the jokes? And they're like, what jokes?
That's fulfilling, though. That's very cool. Yeah.
So what's next? Are you working on the material for the next special yet?
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, tomorrow I'm at the New Hope Cinema Grill, and a lot of that is new material. You know, like I didn't do in the first hour, so a lot of it is growing up in northern Minnesota, the Applebee's thing. You know, a lot about my dad, but then there's other pieces, like other aspects of the life too. So it's a whole range of a variety of comedy, we'll call it, but but no, it'll be fun.
I read a couple of your inspirations are PJ Fleck and Kevin O'Connell. I mean, can you talk about those two guys? I mean, the Vikings are obviously not having a very desirable season here, but why are there inspirations to you?
Well, we can cross Kevin O'Connell off the list. I'm just saying, we're done.
You done with that?
No, I'm kidding. Like, I love PJ Fleck and even Kevin. All the coaches in Minnesota right now are so well spoken, and they can explain things at a high level. But PJ's always, you know, you watch his interviews and you're just like, man, I want to run through a wall right now. Yeah. And it's like, no, that's a brick wall. I'm not going to do that. You know? But he always talks about like doing things that, you know, like doing something every day to get better. And I think there's a lot whether it's Marines or football or wrestling or comedy, you're doing unnatural things that not everybody else is doing. And so to make yourself get up and be better, work in a different environment, like I love stuff like that. I love people who do it a different way. Yeah. And, you know, all his catchphrases are great too. So Kevin O'Connell is very well spoken. He's all about collaboration and stuff. You know, I love that stuff. I don't love the play calling right now. As a Vikings fan, it hurts my heart.
Yes, it's been hard to watch.
Yes,
really, really, really hard to watch. Who's your favorite local sports team?
Right now, it's the Wolves.
Yeah.
I'm always Minnesota sports. Screw the Lakers.
Yeah, what'd you do in the playoffs last year when the Wolves and the Lakers were tacked up?
It's not even a thing. All the Lakers fans I know hated me. Same thing in Denver when I lived there. Like it was a problem. But no, it's always Minnesota sports. I wish we had a Major League Baseball team, but
Yeah, me too. It's really unfortunate that we don't.
yes.
You live in the city with the back-to-back World Series champions. Well, you can get on board. There's plenty of room in the bandwagon.
No.
Not interested.
I hate teams that just buy it, right? Like, as a Minnesota sports fans, I'm like, no, you got to earn it.
You got to earn it. Yeah.
We're bougie on a budget. That's a state. Yeah, we shop on clearance, man.
Yes.
No, I love the Wolves. Like because I was there through David Gahn, you know, and like Kevin Garnett and stuff like that. Like I'm that old. If you ask my agent, I'm 29. Anybody else, I feel like I'm 97. But no, I love the Wolves. I love Ant. I love, it's cool. They have swag.
Right. Yeah.
And they have attitude. So I love that.
Yeah. Look, you're at New Hope Cinema Grill tomorrow night. Can you give maybe people a little taste of what they can see if they go over there?
Yeah, come out, see the new stuff. You hear me talk about Northern Minnesota and my dad taking us to Disney and. Disney to my dad was like Vietnam. Okay. He hated it so much because he wanted everything on a discount. So, so all that stuff. And so he would take us 2 hours from northern Minnesota and be like, we're here. Oh. And it was a sawmill. Oh. And he's like, this is Disney North.
Yeah.
And we're like, where's Mickey?
Right.
And he would just point at a random infestation of rats and be like, that's Mickey Mouse, there's Minnie, like there's Mortimer, there's measles, there's mumps. Don't get too close. So he always had something. Going on. But the only theme park we ever went to was my aunt took us to Disney once, but she saw the prices and said, we're going somewhere better. Oh. It's too expensive. So she took us to the Holy Land Express. The Holy Land Express. Which is a Jesus theme park. Oh. Mm. And so we got to see really great rides like Noah's Ark, which was just a rowboat with holes in it, one scraggly little dog with an eye patch. They had the Black Plague. Oh, yes. Which, it was just those same rats that we saw at Disney North. Yes. And it was just narrated by RFK and Jenny McCarthy. Oh, yes. And the flat Earth where we would just walk. Oh, yes. Just straight. You couldn't turn. We actually saw a real live crucifixion. Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, yeah. It was part of the Florida Scared Straight program, so real death row inmates. Yes. And there would be a whipping involved, and 3 days later, you could buy another ticket and see it. Yes. See them rise from the dead. Yes. It was a different actor, though. It's a different actor. Yes. It was a different actor. It's so I just gave away the whole show. So
you don't even got to say it.
Yeah. Go to New Hope Cinema Grill.
Grill. Denise Winkleman, Minnesota's lucky to have you, and thanks for representing us all across the country, across the world with your comedy.
Of course. Thanks for having me. Let's hope you both come. Like we can frolic all the way there.
Yeah, let's do it.
Thanks, Denise. More to come from the afternoon shift after this. Welcome back to the afternoon shift, Max. It's cold outside. I don't care what Minnesotans say. You guys, I think some people like it. I think you like this.
I don't like this.
You don't like
No. Why are you putting that on me? You always say that. You love this, don't
I feel like there's people that like
sick
this.
Freak, you love this.
No, it's cold. What did Prince say? He said, I like the cold. It keeps all the bad people out.
Yeah, well, that's one thing me and Prince disagree on. But that it is damn cold outside. Yes.
It is very cold. What doesn't stop, even when it is freezing, are animals that need to be rescued. They need to be taken care of, and adoption and whatnot.
Especially around this time of year.
We're very fortunate to be joined by the Animal Humane Society's Director of Communications, Miss Sarah Bamani. There she is. Sarah, what's up?
Oh, my gosh.
Hi. I've got a little friend here with me, too.
Hey, what's their name?
This is Verdant. She's a 2-month-old kitten. She came in with her 2 siblings. They were born to an outdoor cat. And they just need surgery, and then they'll be available for adoption.
Amazing.
Oh my gosh, she is adorable.
She's a little squirmy, so I don't know if I'll hold her the whole time.
I got kittens like the one you're holding, other animals. What happens to animal shelters when the temperatures do drop like this? I feel like a lot of people just kind of don't even think of it, but you guys are still working and processing.
Yeah. So it's actually really interesting. In a typical year around this time, we'd actually be kind of entering our slower season because kitten season would be ending. So cats are seasonal breeders, so they tend to breed from the spring through the late fall. And this year, we're still seeing kitten litters come in, even though we're now in kind of the deep of winter. So for whatever reason, cats are still going strong. We're seeing a lot of cats come in. She's made an escape.
Camera shy.
But we also in the winter we'll see more reports of stray dogs, loose dogs, and it's really because the fences tend to shrink in the winter as that snow piles up. So that's a tip for everybody. If you have a dog, you have a fenced-in yard, make sure that you're shoveling your snow away from the fence so that your dog is staying in your yard and not able to climb over the fence. We'll also see more animals coming in the winter with frostbite on their paw pads, on their ear tips, on their tail tips. Another tip that we tell folks is if you park your car outside, it's always a good idea to tap a few times on the cover before starting your engine, just in case a cat found their way into the innards of your car to stay warm near the engine.
I'm curious, how do the holidays kind of impact what you guys do there? Do you see a lot of people bringing in maybe a pet that they got for Christmas or as a gift that they maybe didn't ask for, or like how does kind of the holidays and gifting affect what you guys do there?
Yeah, we don't necessarily see an increase in pet surrenders like directly after the holidays, but it is very common for us to, especially with critters like guinea pigs, rabbits, mice, kind of those like what you think of as maybe a kid-friendly starter pet. We don't recommend those pets for kids because they do take a lot of work, just like a cat or a dog does. They can be a great family pet, but we do see some of those critters coming back to us or being surrendered to us because maybe the kids outgrew them. They're no longer interested in taking care of them. So it's really important for folks to think through, how long is this animal going to live? What's the daily care that goes into taking care of them? What's my lifestyle like? What's my kids' lifestyle like? Are they active? Do they like being outside? Do they like being inside? Are there any allergies you should be considering? So at Animal Humane Society, we really recommend instead of getting an actual animal for somebody as a gift, we recommend gifting the experience of coming in and adopting a pet as the gift. So maybe you get them like a little bundle of pet supplies and a gift card to AHS that'll help cover the adoption fee, and then come in together so that the individual who's actually getting the pet has a say in which animal they end up adopting. Because it's really a personal decision. There's a bit of matchmaking going on. I can't tell you how many times we've had people come into the shelter saying, oh, I want a puppy or a kitten, and then they end up walking out with a totally different animal because they just felt that connection.
Yeah, Sarah, just to tap on a point you just made, you have people that are adopting mice. That's a pet for people? Yeah. People have mouse as pets?
Absolutely.
Yep.
And you have
mice,
those at the
rats,
Animal Humane Society?
Yep, we have 13 different types of critters. Don't ask me to name all of them. I don't know that I'll get all 13, but yes, we have guinea pigs, rabbits, birds, mice, rats, ferrets, chinchillas, dagoos, which are a different type of rodent. We don't get them very often, but every once in a while you might see one.
Oh,
wow.
Very interesting.
Yeah. I knew people had mice for pets, but like
rats too?
Yes, absolutely. There's dog. People are, yeah. For sure. I'm not yucking anybody's
You?
yolk.
Is that
not
you?
me. Some of them live at my crib, but they ain't my pets. Let me tell you that. I'm gonna be donating them to the Humane Society when I find them, because I've seen them around at my crib. But I feel like a lot of people only think of you guys as a shelter for dogs and cats, right? Is that a common kind of thing that you guys encounter, that people like us that are like, what? You guys have all these different kinds of critters?
Yeah, it is a common misconception. So yeah, we definitely have lots of dogs, lots of cats for adoption, but yeah, we have the 13 different types of critters as well. So if you're not ready for a dog or a cat, or maybe you don't have a space for a dog or a cat, a critter might be a great option for you.
Sarah, all fantastic information. All the jokes aside here, how can people support Animal Humane Society this holiday season? I know Giving Tuesday was just a couple days ago. What are some initiatives that you all have?
Yeah, absolutely. So donating is always very much appreciated. If you can't donate money, we also have a wish list on our website. So animalhumanesociety.org. There's a donate tab. You can learn all the different ways that you can donate to us, whether it's financial or supplies, or even your time. We're always looking for volunteers. There's a volunteer tab on our website as well, so you can learn more about the different roles we have available and what goes into that. And I would also encourage people, maybe the kids are on winter break, and you're looking for some fun activities to do with the kiddos. Just coming in and visiting with the animals at our shelter is really great enrichment for our animals. It gets them used to interacting with different types of people. So there's lots of different ways that people can get involved and support us this holiday season.
Sarah, you guys truly are angels. Like, I speak for the whole afternoon shift. We really appreciate all the work you guys are doing out there, and we appreciate your time today.
Oh yeah, thanks so much for having me on.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you. Mice and rats, among other animals at the Animal Humane Society. Yes.
Oh yeah, they run on little wheels and everything. Yeah, people got them. I had some friends. They weren't. Yeah. I'm not saying this is why they aren't my friends anymore, but they had some friends in the youth that had mice as pets, and it was didn't have too many sleepovers at their crib.
No,
definitely not.
No. I commend people that have those, and the Animal Humane Society is doing amazing work of rescuing these animals and making sure they're in a good, well-run home and all that. Yeah. I know not all animal homes are created equal, and the Animal Humane Society is at the top of the list.
Oh, for sure. They're at the cutting edge. They're innovating all these different ways constantly to try to keep these animals safe and healthy, and especially warm throughout the winter.
Absolutely. Good work they're doing there. And good work we're doing here on the afternoon shift. We're going to take a break, and then we're going to round out today's episode right after this. Don't go anywhere. Back to the afternoon shift, Max. We started off today's show at Minneapolis City Hall with CARE and other Somali community leaders, and we're gonna go back to that.
Yeah, we played pretty much the entire press conference, listened to all the different speakers, but there was a portion at the end where they took questions from journalists and people in the crowd. So we want to give you that portion of the Q&A session down there in Minneapolis.
Yeah, and I think we are going to just play that, and that's going to run up right to the 5 o'clock news too.
Yeah, normally we do our little 5 o'clock news starts right now. We're not doing none of that because this is important stuff today.
Yeah, absolutely. So here's the question and answer portion of that press conference from earlier, and we will see you back here on the afternoon shift tomorrow.
Peace.
Or state Republican leadership here. We've heard a lot from folks from the NFL here. Have you had a chance to converse with the Republican counterparts?
No, but I've not had a conversation with Republican leadership, but I did have multiple conversations with Republican Muslims, many of them who have been trying to get the Republican leadership to declare a moral stance. If the president believes that Somali Americans are garbage, do the Republican leadership of the state of Minnesota agree with that? And if they do, they're silent. If they're not, we would have heard from them earlier. This is a moment of moral clarity. If you believe in something, you must stand for what is right. And so we have not heard from them. We know that there are a lot of Somali Americans that voted for the Republican Party. This is not new, they've existed. Many of them are wondering, is this the party that believes that they who voted for them are garbage. And if they're not speaking in this moment, silence is complicit.
And I will add to that I did send an email to our Republican leadership, Lisa Dameth, Mark Johnson, and the Democrats as well, asking them to condemn this yesterday morning at 8 a.m. and to come and stand with us at a press conference yesterday at 3 p.m. Today at a press conference, Leader Dameth lied and said she did not receive an email from me. I have that email. You all can put that on the record.
And Jaylani, question for you. Do you regret the Abandon Harris campaign that you went about last year? Do you regret that at all?
Absolutely not. The Abandon Biden campaign was about genocide. It was a president who many of us supported, who committed the worst atrocities that we believe in today. This genocide will be one of the darkest stains of this moment. And President Biden, not only did he lose his base, but I personally believe he will go down as probably one of the worst presidents that we have ever had.
Do you support President Trump?
Absolutely no. And in that moment when we were supporting Abandon Biden, our Abandon Biden was not about supporting Trump at all. At all.
I have a thing to say. If you look at our precincts both across Minneapolis in the Ward 8 precincts, Ward 9, Ward 6 precincts, where we have a majority of East African folks, particularly our Somali immigrant community members, you look at those precincts, they went for Kamala Harris. So like there's this myth that sometimes people believe that the Somali and East African community voted for Trump. When you look at the data, that's just not true. They voted for Kamala. They did not vote for this, so insinuating that is just not fair. So you look at the data, it is very clear that folks did not want any of this to happen. So I just wanted to at least make sure that you look at the data, look at election results, look at the precincts. It is very clear for who folks voted for, and it was not for the president.
Jelani, you've been talking about for a few days that a lot of leaders are getting texts and phone calls about ICE detainments. Can you put any context to how many people are being impacted, what families are seeing? Because we've seen a lot of chatter on social media, and of course we want to make sure we know what's true.
So our office has been receiving calls, and we encourage people to reach out to CARE Minnesota, Immigrant Law Center, and some of the other organizations, advocates for human rights, and also the other organizations that are on the front lines, COPAL, UNIDOS. There are a number of these organizations that are actually on the ground, Mayorak and others, who are right now have hotlines where people can report ICE, but also at the same time get service and help. So unfortunately, everything is fluid at this moment. We are hearing a number of individuals who are U.S. citizens detained, some for a little longer, others for a short period of time. We also know that many people who are afraid to even share the fact that they were detained as an effort to maybe see if there are additional fear. So at this point, it's really hard to say the exact number of how many people either detained, but we definitely know that there are a number of people that have been picked up through this ICE raid. We believe in the dozens at this moment. Right now it could be a lot more or less depending on when families reach out to us and we get an accurate number. And also, as we mentioned, this current ICE administration does not provide immediate information about the whereabouts of the individual. And that's something that makes it very difficult for families, because by the time somebody finds out somebody's gone, it may be days or 2 days, and then we may not know exactly where they are, sometimes even longer than that.
Jaylani, can you talk about the effect that this has had on the community right now? Because we have seen this effect in other cities where there have been these operations here, and the chilling effect that it's had on certain communities. Can you talk about right now what is going on in the East African community here in Minneapolis and the greater Twin Cities metro?
Well, right now it looks like ICE is hunting down black people. They came here, they're looking for black people. Somali Americans are blacks, they're looking for anybody who looks like that. And here's the interesting thing. I think in this particular junction, what's different is that most of us are actually U.S. citizens. Some of us, majority of us are actually born here. So the likelihood of finding an undocumented Somali is extremely difficult. It's just a reality, they're in the hundreds. So if ICE is here to crack down on immigration, they're not really doing that. They're cracking down on targeting and terrorizing Somali citizens in the United States who now are worried about, should I go get my passport, because that might be the only way to verify that I am a U.S. citizen. So it's extremely disappointing. It's frustrating. Our community is in shock and fear. We've asked folks to be calm. If you are an individual who's experiencing some version of a planned process of your immigration, to reach out to your attorney. If you need an attorney, reach out to organizations like CARE and others will help you connect. In this moment, there's an element for ICE to create panic. But we believe if our communities are organized, if our folks who are neighbors understand what the rights are and what you can do, what you cannot do, we empower the community to feel powered. And that's what we're doing right now. So it is extremely frustrating and difficult. But really, this ICE raid, I think, is a lot different than others because it's really targeting Somali Americans and obviously black people, because that's what it looks like. Obviously, the other immigrant communities, we all live together. So this is really a target on our other immigrant communities as well, many who are also undocumented.